Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It is FOMC day, Wednesday, January 31st. It's the end of the month, so I want to make sure we take a look at the higher time frame, the monthly, all the way down to the 65. This is going to be a little bit more of a lengthy video. It's going to give you a lot of information. So definitely want to stick around. And if you can't reach it all, we're going to go through SPY, QQQ, IWM, DIA. And we're going to go fairly quickly, but there's just a lot of information to cover. We'll cover the VIX as well. Leading into the FOMC, I think the market has spoken. I think it's telling us that we are likely to have a reversal. There is one small idea that SPY could reach just a little bit more of a high, or perhaps retrace a little bit today going into tomorrow. But I still think IWM has a chance to pop and reach a new recent high. And so that's what we'll be looking at. And we'll look at a couple indicators, but not too many on the daily time frame. All the monthly and weekly time frames have bearish divergence. So if you just trust me on that, we'll jump into it. If you're new here, go down to that bottom right hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo, and subscribe. Thanks for being here. We called the top on the market, on the tech market, last Wednesday or Thursday. That video is out there. You can check it out. I'll pin it up atop. And I do think we are likely to have a top here on the SPY as well. So let's check this out. We have SPY on the monthly time frame. We're checking out this month. Today's the last day. We're going to see how this candle closes. Now, it's very important because we have FOMC. Do we just tank? Do we tank it down to possibly 476? Is it going to be relentless? I don't know these answers really. In a couple hours, can we tank that far? Maybe. So I don't see too much happening with this candle. Maybe we get a little bit lower, but we'll see how that ends. It's very important. If we get some sort of doji and it's a relentless sell today, then watch out, because the selling has certainly started. Now, it's very likely, it's a little bit more likely that SPY just retraces. This candle kind of remains the same, and we just get some sort of monthly cloud cover, inside month, or just a gap down month in continuation. This isn't telling us too much. This is actually, in a sense, just a bullish candle. If you're not looking at any of the indicators, we just have follow through here. So on QQQ, this monthly candle is just a little bit more of an indecision. If we get a little bit more lower prices, this will be a little bit more of an indecision. Right now, it's a spinning top, which doesn't say a whole lot. It's not too bullish. It's not crazy bearish. So not a whole lot to look on that one. IWM looks bullish. It's an inside month here. Perhaps we get follow through, and the bulls want to see a break above this month's high in order to get a continuation on this move. Possible? Sure. And we have this falling pivot, back tested the falling pivot, could continue. Break down from this, and if you look at this in a different sense, to where this is just a bear flag or channel, and really we're just testing the upper end of that channel, and we could continue lower. So be careful if you're a bull. Those are the two different points of view, and that's what technical analysis is. If you're bearish or bullish, you're trying to identify your indicators in your mind frame, and you're trying to chart it in order to trade off of it. We're charting it as a bear. we expect this to go lower. But if we start to break above this 200, 201 area, and especially above this candle, that's bullish. It's going to continue. DIA. We started shorting DIA today. We had a lotto yesterday, but again, nothing really to say here, but looks really bullish. We started shorting it today because of tons of divergences and in sort of a top here. It appears that we have some sort of rising wedge to break down from. Don't look at these. These are those lines. They just they're divergences on different indicators that I have. That's identifying it with the chart itself. So let's jump back to SPY, and the monthly that's the monthly. So we'll check out the weekly. Weekly has given us a reversal signal so far. This can continue down. Otherwise, if we close the week similar to this, possible reversal that's happening, I do think that's the case. We'll have to get confirmation for next week, continuation. So we'll be looking for a candle up, reversal, and a candle down. A nice big red candle. It could be shorter. That would be confirmation, but we want to get a move underneath this 486 area. Take a look at the Qs. Had a potential reversal candle. We're starting to get that confirmation underneath. If we close underneath the low here, it'd be a great confirmation. IWM. IWM, again on the weekly, is painting just a little bit more of a bearish picture. So if we close this possible reversal candle, it's a pause, so we can continue up, but it's showing weakness here on both of these candles. Reversed up, showed some weakness into supply, weakness again, so that's potential reversal candle. Now we're here earlier on the week, but again, we want to look at those monthlies for the higher time frame look. And we'll see now with the weekly, we still have a couple more days left. DIA, just strong as can be. I do expect this to give us a weekly doji. I'm looking forward to that. This thing, once it starts going, is probably going to be pretty relentless to the downside. You can see the Dow it tends to, once it gets into a pattern, out of a pattern, it starts to trends. These trends are pretty relentless. Okay. Going back to SPY, now we're going to spend a little bit more time on, we'll check out some of the indicators, and we'll move down to the daily. Daily trend is our friend. Okay, first off, let's look at the Elliott wave. We're going to consider this a ending diagonal for a top here as wave 5. We have top of wave 3 going to 4 and a possible major wave 5 ending. Now I did that as a ending diagonal, so they would be 3 waves into 1, 3 into 2, 3 into 3, and it would explain this move here as a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into A. We got our B consolidation, and we're looking for C here. Now we're getting our push down here, an evening star reversal. I don't think it's likely that we make a new high, but it's possible. Anything's possible with the FOMC. So if we get one more high, that would just explain that this might be a 1, 2, 3, and we're getting this as a wave 4, and one more pop up into wave 5. I think that's less likely now that we've had this gap down move here. It seems that the momentum has shifted. And taking a look at with this indicator here, we have the MACD with bearish divergence, and I guess it's written here. There we go, that's better. So MACD with the bearish divergence here, so we're looking for a crossover for confirmation. We're also holding that 8 EMA, so that's the only reason, why that's really giving me a possible point of view that we could have one more pop up, especially if IWM decides to get one more high. And if you're looking at Goldman Sachs, we'll take a look at that in just a little bit when we go to IWM. It just broke out of a channel, so we'll see if that is kind of the leading indicator for the IWM. And we do have bearish divergence on RSI, and we're crossing over, we're getting the sell signal here on the slow stoke. So that would be our sell signal with the overbought RSI and divergence playing out. Now, if we look at the technical analysis here, the traditional, I drew this channel, and I think this is more appropriate now. If we would have kept this on here the whole time, who would have known? We would know exactly where our top was. So we took the bottom here, this bottom here, the top of this wave 1, wave 3 overshot. It's an overthrow of the channel, came back down, and this is giving our wave 5 top here. I think it's more likely that the top is in, but we could ride the upper trend line just a little bit more. Okay, so this is perfectly parallel now. We could just reach another new high right here, which would probably take more than one day. We'll see with FOMC, you can get large moves. So the move could give us one more top, and then we get another divergence here, which we actually don't have a smaller divergence here on the RSI. Sometimes that happens. We don't need to get one. We have one from here to here, and we corrected from that move, and we're making a lower high here. But a lot of times in this move in particular, we'll look just like this. We'll be looking for a near-term lower high. We don't have that. So if we do get a new high in price going into Friday, which would probably lead into Monday, so that would be a good indicator on what's happening. If we get a little bit bullish into Friday, and then Monday, we'll probably make a lower high here on the RSI. I do believe the top is in, but that's a possible scenario. So looking at our reversal indicator, we have our Williams R percent crossing over. That's a sell signal. All right. Let's go back to the default so we can look at some of these indicators. We have our DMARC. We have a 9 count sell signal yesterday. We had our gap down today after that exhaustion. So that would be a 9-9 reversal setup. Awesome oscillator, negative divergence. Balance of power, negative divergence. Looking at the Bollinger Band, we looked at this the other day, and we said, hey, we reached the top. We were touching the Bollinger Bands here, but we finally had the oversold position in the RSI. So touching the top of the Bollinger Band with an oversold RSI is a sell signal. We got that. Looking over to Qs, triple Qs. Okay, we'll stay on the default for now, and then we'll check out the traditional technical analysis. DMARC, we have the 9, 13, 9. That's a different 9. We're not going to pay attention. 9, 13, 9 here. Got a new high, but we have a 9, 13, 9 signal. Got a new high here. Looking to reverse. Awesome oscillator. Negative divergence. Clean and simple. Balance of power. Negative divergence. Not confirming the move up. That's what we're talking about. Price moved up. Indicators moved down. Lower high, higher high. Bollinger Bands. Got to the top of the Bollinger Band. Look at that. Overbought scenario. Top of the Bollinger Band. Sell signal. IWM. No. Sorry. Moving too quick here. All right, let's take a look at the Elliott wave. That Elliott wave should... Let's see if we have the flat here. I was looking at this potentially being a flat just to mimic the S&P. That's not the case. I don't think that's the case anymore. So we'll have to work on this a little bit better. But I think we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move to end at all-time highs for a major top. And we'll have to work on what happens next. We'll probably have an initial 5-wave move down, impulsive move. And we'll go from there. But the move's just starting, so we're not on the lower time frame. We'll work up a count. So let's go to the traditional indicators. So we had this rising wedge, this bearish rising wedge, have an overthrow, fake break back down. That's bearish in itself. And at this point, we're still holding this rising wedge as well. So breakdown from this rising wedge will be a secondary sell signal. Do we get that today? Possibly. Or into Friday? We'll see. We'll see what the FOMC has to offer. I'm not really going to look into what they're saying. It doesn't really matter to me. It's about how the market reacts. Now, with that said, I'm not going to go too far into it, but I want you to pay attention to the TNX. The 10-year, I talked about this. I'm going to pin this video at the end. The 10-year, when market prices start heading lower with the 10-year treasury rate headed lower, that's a very bad sign. This is the first time this is starting to happen. If that continues to be the case, what's happening is the yield curve is steepening, and we're starting to get our recession type play. Our recession is coming. The market is saying lower rates. The Fed will have to lower rates with the market. That will be a Fed pivot that will mark the recession, and prices will go much lower. I will pin that video so you can check it out. At this point, if we're looking longer term, I think this might be some sort of sideways head and shoulder here. We'll probably have a left head, and then a right might be a little bit higher. The neckline might be rising. We'll see. We'll see what happens up here. This might go all the way down here before we get a significant bounce and be a symmetrical head and shoulder. There's many ways this could play out. All right, looking at the indicators, bearish divergence. We're looking for the cross here for confirmation, just like SPY. Bearish divergence here. And we didn't get, just like I was talking about, you don't have to. That was a lower high, so we got a lower high in the RSI as well. We didn't get that near-term bearish divergence on the daily time frame. We have the sell signal well into... We got the sell signal early, and that's when we talked about last week being on the 24th. We called that top there. That video will also be connected at the end here. But keep in mind that we're looking for that sell signal to play out on the longer term as well. Williams percent, same thing. We got that sell signal. Boom, boom, boom. The sell signal is divergence, overbought, and a break underneath the negative 20 there. That's what the sell signal is on the Williams R. Okay. IWM. This time we'll check out the VIX as well. So we're looking at that descending triangle that we were having there. We had this descending pivot. And we're getting a reaction off of it. Is that the actual play? I don't know. But I think it's unlikely. No sell signals for the DMARC count. Awesome oscillator. You see we had some divergence, negative divergence there. But really, we're just getting a bounce back here. The indicators aren't a whole lot of help at this point. We're negative here at the balance of power. So, that's not good. Bollinger Bands starting to really tighten up here and starting to curve down. So we're rolling over there. That's a bad sign for this market. The price will have to have quite the move and start pushing up on the top of the Bollinger Bands. We'll see. I don't think that's the case, but we'll see what happens. Price is the arbiter, not me. All right, with IWM said, we have our top here. This is our big picture view. We have an A, a B, and a C heading much lower. We'll have a 5-wave impulsive move. I think this is a 1-2 here. Just do we have a little bit higher to go, or do we roll over from here? That is the question. This 5-wave move down should coincide with our 5-wave move down from the market. So even if you're counting, just like I was talking about with the Qs, that initial move being an expanded B on the Qs and then heading lower for a 5-wave move, that's fine. You can count that. Either way, we're going to look for a 5-wave impulse move, a very large impulse move, probably larger than this one here, down. Okay? So that matches what's happening with IWM. DIA, again, you can look at this as an expanded B and then heading lower. It's possible. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on I don't have that set up here. So just taking a look at the DIA. We have some of these indicators here. We have bearish divergence, getting higher highs in price, lower highs in the MACD. Same with RSI. We have not crossed over. We have not gotten a sell signal. So I did arrange some puts there, and that's more of a, how can I say this? This is more of a theoretical type play, jumping ahead, because if the market is going to start moving to the downside and aggressively, the DIA is not going to continue to the upside. So it's more of a theoretical play. I'm already in puts in DIA. Catch the turn. Maybe it continues a little bit higher. We'll see. Reversal, Williams R, starting to roll over. We have our overbought situation. We have divergence, but we are early in this move. We don't have the sell signal yet. Do we have anything then to count? The DMARC count? We're doing this live. Look at that. 9 count, 13, 9 count here. That would be a 13, 13, 9 setup. And this, I didn't look at this yet, guys. So that's pretty huge. We have a reversal setup here. Again, it's just a setup. We need follow through with all of these indicators. The DMARC, I'm glad we checked that. Nice. I like it a lot. Awesome oscillator, negative divergence. Balance of power, negative divergence. Bollinger Bands. Negative divergence in the RSI, oversold. And we're at the top. We're touching the top. We're actually above the Bollinger Band. This is a sell signal once again. That's why we are shorting DIA. I think this is a great setup. It can go higher. It can continue to grind as long as the market wants to stay kind of stuck. But I think FOMC is going to change that. Okay, so let's go over to the VIX. On the VIX, this is what we drew the other day. I think we get a larger move. We get a rejection and then a breakout. This could go straight through. That'd be very, very bearish. But these are really good levels at the 19 and the 15, about 1550. You know, there's zones. This is very volatile. The VIX is volatile. So that's what we're looking for. We didn't get the move yet. We'll see. This is the box we talked about the other day. We're starting to form market structure. And once we break out of this box, that was maybe news or something like that. We had a spike that just was there for a second. Price action didn't reflect that. Maybe it was just a telltale what's happening coming up. A shot across the bow, as they say. But we're looking at this to break out of this box and then above 1550. And I think we're off to the races, and I think the market continues to head lower at that point. All right. Anything else on this one? Let's go down to the 65 minutes. Okay, let's start off with IWM because I want to show you Goldman Sachs as well. We're using that as a hedge to the upside. We had our bullish falling wedge, broke out from it, consolidated. And if you could look at this is our neckline here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder with this consolidation. And we just back tested the neckline at this point. So I do think this is a possible three-way move here. We'll have to, not sure if this is a complete triangle where you have an A, B, C, D, E, or this is a 1-2 going on to, and we're going into wave 3. That's possible, but either way, I think we get up to about the 201 zone. Okay, so if we look at the Elliott wave picture, you'll see that breaking out of this triangle here, perhaps that's a back test to it or to our neckline. You can look at it a couple different ways. We have our stopping point here. I think we'll make it to 200, consolidate, and then we'll be looking for, we could go just straight through with the FOMC. We have a catalyst on hand, so can't say exactly how this is going to play out, but if it does, we have our 786 retracement from this initial move here. So this is an impulse move. We already hit the 62% retracement, which is always a good point. That's a golden zone. Consolidated, so that tells us that price needs to go a little bit higher. This could be the end of it and didn't hold at the 62. Okay? But if the market is to hold up or retrace, and we'll look at that on SPY, I think this will be the leader pushing it up. And one reason why is, first of all, oil stocks have been pushing up. There's some oil stocks in the IWM, but we had this channel. Goldman Sachs broke out of the triangle, consolidated for, my gosh, since early to mid-December till now. We played this, had a falling wedge. We played this, had a great win. It pulled back hard when we were already out at the resistance, and then we missed this move here, but we got back into it above here. Now, why, you say? Because if you do the measured move from the bottom around 375 to about 385 to 7, around there, the measured move brings us to 400, and that'd be a nice round number for this continue up to. So we're going to play this to about 400. That's going to be our hedge to a lot of our puts. We are much later dated. This is for this week. These are calls for this week. Our swings for everything else, I say everything else because that's pretty much the truth. I don't have any IWM puts yet, but I will if we get up to that 786. I will take these off and use that money to short the small caps. Okay, so this is a measured move play. We already broke out from this channel, looking for 400. It's only 8 points away, but I could see us getting through that today with FOMC, or if we get follow through from the FOMC with IWM, And this is our lead back into SPY. So with tech being so weak, this can be our impulse wave right here. Okay, and in order to get this retracement, that might be carried on the back of IWM. So if this is a first impulsive move, we might have a nice deep 62%, even possibly 78% retracement. Okay, what would that look like? So we got our top here, first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we had the measured move for this triangle. At the 100%, we got the top. We got the top so far. When you erase that, and we had a slight new high right there. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We got a reversal. And if we take our drawing tool, a retracement, let's say this impulse move is over. Now we're looking at that 490, possibly even higher, to try to close the gap. 490.50. So about the 489, we'll just call it 490. This 490 area is what we're looking for a pullback. Perhaps IWM gives us that move while the Qs continue to be weak. And I do think the Dow is going to be weak. So if the Dow starts reversing, we're going to need something else to pull us up. And I don't think that's going to be tech. I think that's most likely the IWM. I think the Dow is done. I think the top is in. All right. IWM already led the market. The top is in. It's the weakest market. But in this near term, I think it needs to be the strongest to hold in order for the market to get these retracements, if this is the first impulse move. And if it is, we will start to mark this. Actually, we will. So I'll continue to do these numbers in the next video or so, but this will probably, let me put all these in yellow, and then I'll have a wave 2, 3, 4, 5, continue on there. But so if you're new here, make sure you hit that notification button. All of these videos are attached. They're sequences, they're stories. We get a retracement here. We'll talk about tomorrow. We'll make another video. Maybe we already hit this point, and we'll be shorting from here again. Okay, we'll be adding on again shorter term puts in this 490 area, and we'll be hedged to the upside with the IWM. And this is the futures. That's Rudy. The future small caps. Okay, I do think DIA reverses and such. All right, moving on to the Qs. Qs already has its top probably in, and what I see from the Qs is a impulse move 1. 2, we had a 62%, I think it was actually a 786 retracement. Yeah, we had our timing right here, broke down, had a 786 retracement, and then what will probably happen is it's probably a 1-2-1-2 setup. So you see it reached all the way up to that 786 right here. And now I think this is a new 1-2-1-2 setup. Now, to me on this time frame, it really doesn't look complete. It looks like this is a 1, 2, 3, and you get a 4, and we continue on for wave 5. That would be my first guess. And the retracement should not get really above the 421. If it gets above 421 right here, which is the 382 retracement from the potential top of wave 2 here, then we probably move further, and that would mean that this impulse move is done as well. And in that case, that would mean we have a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2 back into probably the 62% or close the gap. 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, and that'd be much more bearish to where we get a large move after that. Okay, and we'll put on projections and stuff like that in the upcoming videos, so make sure you check them out. I think that's I don't think we want to dive into much more. Let's check out the DIA on the shorter term. Okay, you have this wedge I put from this pivot here, this pivot, and we're rejecting off of that so far. We'll see if that holds. And then if we break down from this level, this is not necessarily a big resistance area. It's possible, but we can draw this a little bit more steep if it needs to be as well. But we're overbought. We have bearish divergence on the lower time frames, bearish sell signal. That's what's going on. And here's from the VIX stance as we get into the 65-minute. Okay, we talked about this. We talked about this building structure. And even after this large move, we had a gap. We talked about filling the gap. I didn't know if we were going to fill it all the way. We filled the gap. And we didn't even make it down to the 13. Had a large move today. And like I said, this is a high consolidation to a low, a higher low, a high, another higher low, and then whatever the spike is, and we have another higher low here. Now we're going to make a steeper higher low. I said this is building structure, and this thing's going to start moving. Okay. Make sure you check out the TNX video at the end. Make sure you check out the top. I'm calling the top in here today. If we do get a new high, that's another sell opportunity. Okay. So thanks for joining us here at Options Center. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like the video. Thanks for all the support.